Why does one country get hit by so many earthquakes year after year? I mean, Chile sits on one of the most powerful fault lines on Earth. But what makes it so dangerous and so unique? There's a reason Chile is called the shaking land, and it's not just bad luck. Every few years, Chile faces something the rest of the world fears: the ground breaking apart, buildings trembling, and the ocean rising in massive waves. Some of the most powerful earthquakes in human history happened right here. But why Chile? Why does this long, narrow strip of land get hit so often and so violently? Today, we're diving deep beneath the surface to uncover what's really happening below Chile, and why this country may hold the key to understanding the planet's most destructive forces. Chile isn't just another country on the map. It's basically glued to one of the most active tectonic zones in the world, the Nazca Plate, constantly colliding with the South American plate. This slow-motion crash creates mountains, volcanoes, and earthquakes. But in Chile's case, the collision is particularly brutal. The Nazca Plate is an oceanic plate, heavy and dense. The South American plate is continental, lighter, thicker. And where they meet, the Nazca Plate gets shoved underneath, deep into the Earth's mantle. That process is called subduction, and it's like trying to push one brick under another, except these bricks are thousands of kilometers wide and move at about 8 centimeters per year. That doesn't sound like much, right? But over time, the stress builds. And when that tension finally releases, you get an earthquake. Not just any earthquake, but the kind that can move entire coastlines. Let's rewind to May 22, 1960. A quiet Sunday afternoon in southern Chile. People were having lunch, kids were playing outside, and then everything started to move. At 3:11 p.m., the most powerful earthquake ever recorded by humans struck, a magnitude 9.5 monster near the city of Valdivia. That's stronger than almost anything the planet has produced in modern history. It lasted for more than 10 minutes. The ground shook so hard that rivers changed direction. Entire towns vanished. And across the Pacific, 15 hours later, a massive tsunami hit Japan and Hawaii, all triggered by one event in Chile. That single quake released more energy than every nuclear weapon ever tested combined. And it wasn't an isolated event. Chile's history is filled with powerful quakes. The 2010 Maule earthquake, magnitude 8.8. The 2015 Illapel earthquake, magnitude 8.3. The 2020 Atacama region quake, over 7. This isn't random, it's geological destiny. So what exactly is going on beneath Chile? Imagine two plates rubbing against each other. They're locked, stuck, but constantly pushing. The Nazca Plate dives under the continent, but friction keeps it from sliding smoothly. Over decades, pressure builds up like a spring being wound tighter and tighter. When it finally snaps, boom, an earthquake. But Chile's situation is extreme for a few reasons. First, the angle of subduction. The Nazca Plate dives beneath Chile at a steep angle, about 30 to 40 degrees. That makes the contact zone between plates extremely tight and prone to violent ruptures. Second, the length of the fault. The boundary runs nearly the entire length of Chile, more than 6,000 kilometers. That's like the distance from New York to London, so when one section slips, it can trigger others like falling dominoes. Third, the Andes Mountains. All that pressure has been lifting the Andes for millions of years. These mountains are literally built from earthquakes, the byproduct of constant tectonic collision. Every quake, every tremor, is part of that endless construction project. Now imagine living on top of this ticking geological time bomb. Chileans have learned to adapt. Their buildings are designed to flex rather than collapse. Schools practice evacuation drills. And every generation grows up knowing that another big one is not a matter of if, but when. Despite all this preparation, even with the best systems in place, earthquakes leave scars, physical and emotional. In 2010, the Maule earthquake lasted less than 3 minutes, but killed over 500 people and left 2 million homeless. The tsunami that followed wiped out entire coastal towns. But here's the fascinating part. That quake also moved the entire city of Concepcion about 3 meters to the west. That's right, the city literally shifted across the continent. Satellite images confirmed it. That's how powerful the Earth's forces are in this part of the world. When these massive quakes hit offshore, they don't just shake the ground, they displace huge amounts of water. That's how tsunamis are born. After the 1960 Valdivia earthquake, waves up to 25 meters high slammed into Chile's coast before racing across the Pacific. Even places like New Zealand, Japan, and the Philippines felt its impact. Chile's entire coastline faces the Pacific Ring of Fire, a zone where 75% of all the world's volcanoes and 90% of all earthquakes happen. So, when a quake hits, the ocean reacts instantly. It's one of the reasons why Chile has one of the world's best tsunami warning systems today. Sirens, satellites, and coastal monitoring stations that can alert people within minutes. Because every second counts. But scientists now believe there's more happening beneath the ocean floor that we can't even see. Recent research suggests that the boundary between the Nazca and South American plates isn't uniform. Some sections are locked tight, ready to unleash huge quakes, while others slowly creep, releasing energy in smaller bursts. This uneven movement might explain why some Chilean quakes cause massive tsunamis, while others barely ripple the water. And even more concerning, some scientists think there could be silent zones off the coast that haven't ruptured in centuries. That means stress is building quietly. The last megaquake was in 1960, over 60 years ago. If geological patterns continue, some experts say another one could be on the horizon. No one knows when or how strong, but in Chile, history suggests it's inevitable. So here's the shocking truth. Chile isn't unlucky. It's sitting on a boundary that creates the planet's future. Every tremor is a reminder that the Earth is alive, reshaping itself in real time. The same process that destroys cities also builds mountains, fuels volcanoes, and even gives rise to new land. When we look at Chile from above, that long, thin country stretching between the Andes and the Pacific, we're looking at the front line of planetary evolution. It's one of the only places where you can literally watch the Earth change shape before your eyes. It's violent, terrifying, and fascinating all at once. So, why do so many earthquakes hit Chile? Because it sits at the heart of a collision between two enormous forces, one oceanic, one continental, locked in an endless battle beneath the surface. The Nazca plate dives deep, the South American plate rises high, and the tension between them writes the story of an entire continent. Chile's earthquakes are more than disasters. They're signs of a living planet, constantly moving, breathing, and creating. And for scientists, studying Chile is like watching the Earth's heartbeat, sometimes steady, sometimes chaotic, but always alive. If you love learning how the Earth really works, hit subscribe and keep exploring the mysteries beneath our feet.